Hello friends, today we will be talking about the karmic load and the karmic cleansing and talk about the different kinds of karmas. Now as you know, karma is an ancient Indian spiritual concept which says the things you do will bear actions, causes will have effects. And according to the ancient Indian scriptures, karma can be defined into four broad categories. The first one is called Sanchit karma, which is karma that you have accumulated over the past lives, many lives, and those are still sitting in the repository because they have not manifested themselves yet. So that is the accumulated or the Sanchit karma. The second class of karmas are the Agami karma, or karma that is about to manifest from the repository of Sanchit karma. These are karmas that are going to manifest right now in your life at some point, very incipient. The third category is called Prarabdha karma, or the fruitive actions. These are karmas that are happening in the moment. Me talking in this moment, someone colliding with a bus, someone winning a lottery ticket. So these are happening in the moment, in situ karmas, if you will. And the fruitive actions. When we ask why me, that is your prarabdha karma, karma from a past life that is manifesting in this moment. Now the fourth one is what you are doing, which is called the Kriyamani karma or the Vartaman karma. These are actions that you are undertaking in your current situations, and these will either be arabdha, which is sprouted karma, which means it will manifest itself right now and then, instant karma as some people call it, or the anarabdha karma, which is the seeded karma, the karma which will manifest at some point later in life. So say someone did two people did a burglary and one of them got caught and they will be tried and incarcerated. That is the arabdha karma. Whereas someone who escapes and thinks they got the better of it, karma will catch up with them, because that's the divine logbook that never creates a mistake. It's like a divine blockchain that never misses a transaction in the Bitcoin currency. So, knowing that four different kinds of karmas have to be manifested in some sort, form or the other. Now, how does this manifestation happen? It's happening right now, here as we talk. Now, the karmic knots or the granthis, as they call it in Sanskrit scripture, represent the various barriers of ego that exist between the physical body and the spiritual self. So what do I mean by that? I mean, there are three different kinds of barriers that can be recognized, and these are called the granthis in Sanskrit. So there can be what we call the Brahma Granthi, Brahma meaning creation, so the physical body, when you recognize with the body and not the self. The second one is the Vishnu Granthi, which is recognizing with your emotions, your attachments, your desires. And the third one is the Rudra Granthi, which is recognizing with your ideas, your intuitions and your knowledge, if you will. And if you remember my last lecture where I talked about the different forms of body, the Sthool Sharir, which is the physical body, or if you say Annamayi body, or the Sukshma Sharir, which has different categories, which are four of them: Praanamayi, Manomayi, Gnaanmayi and Anandmayi. On top of the bigger one is the Annamayi Sharir. So these are kind of reflected in the granthis. So if you think about it, the Sthool Sharir represents the Brahma Granthi, your physical body. When you recognize the pleasures of the body are your pleasures and not the pleasures of the self, versus the Vishnu Granthi, which is attachments and desires. Now these are what you ship to your next life, your unmet desires, your attachments in your mind, the Manomayi body, Sharir. And then the last one is of course the Rudra Granthi, which is representing your ideas, your intuitions, your Gyan, which you're also carrying. So the Manomayi, or the lower body, which is the your Anandmayi body, or even the Gnaanmayi body, the fourth stage, all of them are going past your life when the Sharir is left along with the Praanamayi body. So that's why this represents various forms of ego that will be carried forward. So knowing the three different Granthis or ego blockers that are impeding realization of the self, if you are able to overcome these three, then you have realized the self. That is one and the most prime way of burning the karmic load in the Sanchit karma or the karma repository reservoir. So, to sum it up again, if you want to burn the karma, you have to self-meditate. Meditate on the self, use the brain to think about the self, visualize the self, and experience the self and not experience the body. And this will happen in your different stages. As the Mundaka Upanishad says, the 4 stages of realization. Wakefulness, when your awareness is turned outwards using the mind and the senses, or the dream sleep in which it was turned into the subconscious, which is when you are thinking about the Manomayi body, the Sukshma Sharir, or the third one, which is the dreamless sleep or the sleep where you have a bliss closest to the turiya or the samadhi state. So you have to turn your senses inwards, as Krishna says, like a tortoise withdraws its limbs inside the shell. You have to withdraw your senses inside your mind, and that is the way to meditate on the self, through constant practice or abhyasa. The other way would be recognizing the remaining world, which is the remaining Jeeves, which constitute the Paramatma. So you are Jeevatma and the bigger body is the Paramatma. Paramatma is constituted by the different Jeevatmas that are living there. So we are only a fragment of the Paramatma. When you are trying to meditate on the self, you are trying to understand the Jeevatma to burn the karmic load. When you are doing compassion towards the rest of the people, then you are in a way serving the Paramatma, and that is what kindness does. That's why Yudhishthira, when he had the conversation with the Yaksha, says, what is the true friend of a dying man? The friend of a dying man is his charity, because all the good that you have done to the others, the compassion is coming back to you and will shield you from the negative effects of the bad karmas that you might have done or attained in your past life, which are sitting in the repository of the Sanchit karma. So in short, you will come back every single time as reincarnation, and that's the reason why people come back in samsara according to Indian scriptures, because we have to burn the remaining karma without generating new karma. And that is why people do Vairagya or renunciation and rejoice, because they don't want to create new karma which will have a reactionary component. But then Krishna says it's very hard. It's very hard to not do something in this world. You will breathe, eat. So you have to do the bare minimum to sustain the body without harming, and in the process creating sattvic elements to create compassion and kindness in the people around you, while at the same time trying to understand the self using the practice of meditation. Because that's what the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, that when you are turning the self into yourself and you're thinking about the self and using the mind to concentrate and meditate on the self, your karmic load is burned. So friends, this is in short about the different kinds of karmas and the granthis or the karmic ego barriers, and how we can overcome them to overcome the cycle of reincarnations and to make ourselves feel better about our lives in general. Thanks a lot for watching the video.